that activity. Is anyone still confused about character traits? What's your question?
I'm confused on the character trait because I really don't understand how to find it.
Okay, well, that's what we're going to practice today. You gave me the perfect question. We're going to practice how to find character traits more today, because practice makes perfect. So the more we practice, the better we get at it, okay? So I thought, well, we've read George Washington's Socks, right? And we annotated fiction. And we're going to look at another fiction text, but there's another kind of text that we can use to help us figure out character traits. And it's not fiction. What do you think it is? Think about all of the schema you have from reading. Think about all the schema of all the activities we've done. What else do you think we can use? Katie?
You could use nonfiction because nonfiction often has real people, so it would probably help you more.
Okay. Who can elaborate on what she started to say? Nonfiction has real people, but it has more than that. Who can elaborate on that for me? Can you elaborate?
Facts about it.
Perfect. It has facts. How do we know a fact from an opinion? Really quick, how do we review a difference between a fact and an opinion? Sydney?
Well, a fact, everybody knows it, but an opinion, people can think differently.
Correct. Okay, that's a short way of thinking about it. An opinion is something you think. You can't necessarily prove. So we're going to look at different kinds of text. I'm going to show you some primary source documents. What are primary source documents? Back there for me.
They're actually from the real thing.
So are they from the real thing, or are they the real thing, or are they copy? Elaborate more. You're on the right track.
I think they are the real thing.
Yeah, usually they are the real thing. What are some examples of primary sources?
Some primary sources might be if you go back and you look at some, like maybe a newspaper back then.
Okay, so from that time period, an actual newspaper. Anything else?
A picture.
What kind of picture?
Like a picture of someone like standing there or in like war or.
What do we call that? When we're looking at a picture of somebody or an event, it could be what can it be called?
Secondary source?
Well, no, it's a primary source because it's the actual thing from there, right? If somebody painted it then, if we took a picture out of our camera of it, it wouldn't become primary source anymore because it's not the actual thing, although it still is primary source because you're looking at the actual thing. But what do we call a painting of a person? What do we call a painting of a person?
A lithograph?
No. Think about it.
A portrait?
A portrait. We're going to look at a portrait. So we're going to study George Washington. We've been doing the American Revolution, and we started our lesson by looking at George Washington and who he was with fiction. We read the book George Washington's Socks, and we looked at the fiction text. And today I'm going to show you another fiction text, but now we're going to look at some nonfiction primary sources, and we're going to wrap up. And your big question, are you ready? You can note this down if you need to. Your essential question for today is to decide, was George Washington a worthy leader, or was he not a worthy leader? Okay, and you have a paper in there already glued that has that question on there. Your summative is on there. Was he a worthy leader, or was he not? Do we all have to agree?
No.
We do not all have to agree. Do you have to back up what you feel with evidence?
Yeah.
Yes. How do you back it up with evidence? What are some ways that you can back up with evidence?
You could use some of those things and say and prove it. Like you could show where you saw it, or you could tell where you saw what you're saying. Like if I said the sky is blue, I would have to show you the sky.
Okay, so you have to prove it. You have to use something to show. So I want to read to you. We started a book, George Washington, our founding father. Does it look like fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction. Realistic.
Oh, Adam says realistic fiction. And Katie says historical fiction. So as I finish the last few pages, I want you to decide. You've got to pick a side. Is it historical or is it realistic? Which one does it belong to more? Okay? Can you hold your question till I'm done? We left off, and there's a picture in the book. Do you think this is very accurate? Or is it hard for us to know? It's hard for us to know. We're going to have more knowledge to figure it out. So, at age 27, I married Martha, a widow and mother of 2 children, Patsy and Jackie. I had no children of my own. My principles were clear. The lesson plan was straightforward. The rules of civility had been a part of me since I copied them when I was 15. They sustained me through the birth of our nation. There's some tough vocabulary here. There's some tough vocabulary. In your thoughtful logs where it says powerful words and phrases, if you notice any powerful words or phrases the author used in his craft, write them down. What makes a word powerful? What makes a word powerful? It stands out, makes you feel something, okay? My principles were clear. That stands out to me. That tells me that he knew what he wanted. When Virginia and the other colonies began the great debate for independence, I was there. I wore my uniform to the sessions of Congress. I was unanimously selected as commander-in-chief of our armies. I devoted myself solely to American Union and patriotism. Why do you think we colored our portrait of George Washington red or blue in your thoughtful logs? When you look at your thoughtful logs, you had to choose red or blue. Why did we color it red or blue?
Maybe because there's a good side and a bad side. Maybe if you didn't think he was a good leader, then you would color it red. If you did think it was a good leader, then you would color it blue.
That's very interesting, Evan, because that's not what I was thinking at all, and I like that perspective. I like his perspective. He used his schema and came up with a different perspective. What do you think was my teacher mind perspective when I decided to have you color it red and blue? Sydney?
Because those are the colors of America, and he was Ireland.
So I was thinking more symbolism. I was trying to use a symbol to give you that, okay? Hold your questions, let me finish. I remembered the advice of my youth. I kept my promise. I was the first soldier commissioned by my country. I remained in the army and did not return home until each battle was won. Darkness and defeat, success and uncertainty, but never despair. The virtue of my men and the nobility of our cause would ultimately bring our reward. God was an active agent in all that we were attempting. Our prayers were answered. This wonderful revolution was won, and those who would treat us as slaves were forced from our shores. But the end was just the beginning. The new nation was weak. We had national character to establish. The country needed to defend liberty and provide for representative government. The preservation of the sacred fire of liberty and the destiny of the republic model of government were staked on this experiment. A constitutional convention was called. I was unanimously chosen as president. We began our task. What was their task? That was a hard piece of text to understand. What was their task? What was their task?
Their task was to create a new nation and so that it could be, instead of just nothing, but maybe make it stronger.
Make it stronger, right? They wanted to make a nation stronger. Did George Washington have visions, you think? Do you think he had dreams about it? Well, I want you to look. We're going to look at how we annotate text, and then I'm going to send you off to be a historian. Okay? I want you to be a historian. So close your eyes and put yourselves in the mindset. You are no longer fourth grade students. You are now historians, which means you have to talk like a historian. You have to act like a historian. You have to role play being a historian. Okay? And just turn yourselves to look at the active board. And let's look at this piece of text. And would you like to drive our technology for us today? Okay. So grab the pen and grab everything else you need. We've read George Washington's socks while we're waiting for Anna to let the technology come up. She's going to get to annotate on the desktop. What does annotate mean? What does annotate mean? What does annotate mean?
To note something down.
To note something down. To show what's in your mind. okay? Because can I dig through your brains? Not physically. That'd be kind of gross. But can I dig through your brains through your thoughtful logs if you annotate? Right. So it's your job to prove to me that you understand what I'm asking you to do, okay? So click on Annotate over Desktop on the left side. I want you to read this text, okay? I want you to read this text as I read it, and then I want to pick one. We're not going to do the whole thing, but I want to set an example of one thing we can annotate to show what kind of character do we think George Washington had. Does character mean emotion? What do you think? It could. Does character mean emotion?
Well, a character trait is like how you are and it's how you act, and can sometimes be an emotion.
It can. Are they linked? Yes. So are emotion words good clue words? Yes. So let's look up here and see if we can infer a character trait. Okay, we do not know it. We have to infer it. What do we use to infer?
Our background knowledge.
Our background knowledge. We have to use our schema, and we have to use the words together, okay? Do you want to read it to yourself, or do you want me to read it out loud?
Out loud.
Okay. Matt was so overcome with relief that he was unable to talk, even though he had wanted to call to Katie and let her know that he was there. As he stood staring from the old rowboat, Matt couldn't take his eyes off the man who had rescued her. He was a tall, imposing figure in a blue and buff uniform. Matt had the strange feeling that he knew that man, for his figure was unmistakable, with his white hair rolled on the sides, tied in the back with a ribbon. His face was strong and proud. It was the face of a leader, the face of a determined man. His eyes stared straight into Matt's, as if one commander had recognized another. It took all of Matt's courage to speak. "My sister, is she all right? The child's alive. No harm will come to her." Who are you?" Matt stammered. "General George Washington, leader of the Continental troops," came the firm reply. "This is some kind of joke, right?" Matt mumbled. The general was not smiling, however, as the wind lashed the freezing rain and snow all about them. Who can share an annotation that Anna should make? Let's have Anna drive, and who can share? I want you to talk to Anna and tell her, and you have to show her evidence. So use meaningful conversation. Look on the board and use meaningful conversation about something that you think.
Where it says General George Washington, leader of the Continental troops, came the firm reply. Where it says,
Explain your thinking.
well, when it says firm reply, it makes it look like General George Washington is not somebody who's like silly and nice. It's like he's somebody who's serious and needs to do business.
Okay, so go ahead and annotate that for us. Have you ever had an experience that tells you why something is firm? Has anyone ever been firm with you? When has someone been firm with you?
I don't think my room, they get really angry and they speak.
Who does that?
My mom and dad.
Okay, is that a file folder in your brain?
Yes.
Do you all have a file folder of someone being firm at home? Yeah, so you can relate to this, right? So you're going to work in groups, and you're going to look at various pieces of text and primary source. And your goal today, your objective, is to come up with 4 character traits for George Washington. Will you make a note why he said that, right? On the side, pick a color and write the note. Pick a different, yeah. You had 2 positive and 2 negative traits. Okay? You need to come up with 2 positive and 2 negative traits that you think George Washington had that would help decide whether he's a good leader or not a good leader. And that's what you're going to end up doing. Where do you think your resources are?
On Edmodo.
Okay, they're on Edmodo. Is there anywhere else you can go for resources outside what I give you?
The books up there.
Okay, you can use any of the historical fiction, realistic fiction text up there.
Maybe some of the primary sources that we have in our social studies books on the.
I wonder, yeah, that's a very good conclusion. I bet your social studies books have some primary sources that you can go and look. What would you use in your social studies book to find that primary source? Would you just start flipping through the pages?
No.
Would you just start flipping through the pages?
Well, first of all, you can go to like the table of contents.
You could go to the table of contents, and what's on the opposite end of the book that you could go to as well? The index. So you can go to the table of contents or the index, and you have to have some key words, right? Okay, I would like for you to work with your scamper groups on this activity. Okay, so we're going to move around the room. You're going to settle into a position, and you're going to work with your scamper groups. On the desktops, they're up. If you need dictionary.com to look up a word, there's websites. Can you go to my website?
Yes.
Do you think I have links up there? Do you think that link can take you to another link? But it's really different to read a website, isn't it? So be very careful and mindful of what you're reading on the website and where you're clicking. Okay? So can I get you guys to move into your scamper groups, take all the materials you need, and scamper 4 character traits for me about George Washington.